Hello YouTube, how's it going? So I was debating whether or not to do this video because I feel like whatever I say can be construed as one line or the other, but I feel like talking about this would be just good content, but at the same time, I don't know, we'll see how the dice rolls on this type of topic. So NICKMERCS, he's one of the biggest Twitch streamers and content creators on the platform. He's big for his first person shooter content, and he's definitely up there. So he was under fire for an anti LGBT comment made during Pride Month. Now, I don't have the full story, but I got enough of it. But we're going to read through the article and then we're going to discuss. So, on June 7th, a tweet went viral showing a large brawl outside a school. It's widely reported that the incident was caused by a school board's decision to acknowledge June as Pride Month. The brawl resulted in 3 arrests. I did see that. That was like literally everywhere on YouTube. Esports casting legend Puckett commented that the fight had taken place not far from where he lived and that Americans are in a sad place right now. Let people love who they love and live your own life. Nick Mertz responded to Punted's tweet saying they should leave little children alone. That's the real issue. This response quickly sparked backlash, with some accusing Nick Mertz of being hateful towards the LGBTQ community. And then we have a response. This is why I waited, because over time the article would grow and stuff would start to come out. Nick has since responded to the backlash. I want to make sure it's recorded. Yeah. Clarifying that he did not intend to upset anyone and that's particularly sensitive of the issues due to the recent birth of his child. He added that he stands by his tweet. It's very difficult when you I guess have a personal stake when this happens, because he just had a child, so now he's thinking like a dad. Same thing happened to my friends whenever they've had kids. It's a different mentality, but at the same time, when you're as big as him, everything you say carries a lot of weight. Heck, even if you're as small as me, you still carry weight whatever you say. So I think he should have stepped away and decided whether this would be worth talking about. It's like Clownfish TV stated. I've stated this before. If you wouldn't say this in an open public area, probably don't say it. And I think that's the best attitude with this stuff. Maybe he might say that, but my other thing is that try not to say stuff that can be used against you in a lot of, like, can be misconstrued in a way that can be used against you. Because right now, Twitter, a lot of social media can be used in order to dangerously affect your life, from everyday things to just, getting employment. It's happened before to a lot of people. So, dude, these ads, like, I know I don't use ad blocker because I believe in, if I'm going to a website, this is all I have to deal with. But dear God, it shouldn't do this, like up and down, up and down. Like, come on, Dexetro. Yeah, this is the article from Dexetro. I leave this link below, but yeah. I always lose my pace. Putik himself disagreed with Kolef, asking, I'm sorry if I butcher your names, I really am. Who is this they, and what a terrible act is everyone afraid of. I think hope of the goal of most of them is to reduce, I can't say that. This is done through acceptance and removing the stigma of feeling being different. So yeah, like, he's just as much free to say that as I can't say those words, but you can see them on screen. Sushi, the cat, is like doing stuff. I have to make sure. Oh, you can't chew on that. Sorry. No, she's trying to chew on a paper straw. I don't know where you even got this thing. Optic Hutch, also known as Nick's tweet, telling him, I don't know how much of this I can say without getting like in trouble. The gays are going after. I don't think I can say that. If I say that, I'm pretty sure it would be like targeted by YouTube in some way. But you can read it on screen right now. YouTube tends to be a minefield, and you have to really pick and choose what you're going to say. Even though this is an official article from accredited publication, still. Golden Boy, another legend, East Gassified. I'm disappointed you and Nick. Teaching acceptance and tolerance for everyone is a valuable life skill for all ages. And then he was called out by the Apex Legends community. The gaming communities where Nick is best known also had many voices critical to the tweet. Some fans called the tweet... Again, I keep losing because of these ads keep doing this. Some fans called the tweet thinly veiled as anti-LGBT dog whistle during Pride Month. I feel like that's grasping at straws. Like, this is what I said, like, anything you say can be misconstrued into something different, and people will start putting words in your mouth and determining what you think you said. This is, it's like really a hectic situation. Vex coach Loopy said he would never work again. God, stop. Vex coach Loopy said he would never work with another MFM member, NICKMERCS event, calling him a bigot and a loser. I will never work. Anyway, we're just reading through that. Apex Legends Hambo said Nick is someone I looked up to so much in this scene ever since he stepped into it. Always respected his grind to get better, but if this effing sucks to see, knowing that this is how he really sees people like me. I I don't know where you get that from, that he sees people like you. He was talking about something entirely different. Again, I'm trying to remain as neutral as possible. Like, I take the person's words for what it is instead of reading in between the lines like this is a great American novel, like, or the Bible or the Quran or the Torah, like where you read between the lines to try and get some other information between it. But with this, I don't know. Like, I feel like, again, people are just taking his words and trying to mean something else out of them. Apex Legends developer Oscar, again, God, Dexedro, if you ever watch this video, fix this situation, because I'm supporting your side with these ads. The least you can do is make sure they don't do this. Called Nick's comment harmful, incorrect, and ignorant. Trans Apex player Lucian, also who played with Nick before, said, when I got the chance to play with NICKMERCS, he was so sweet towards me. His chat was extremely kind and transformative, and so genuine, so sweet, treated me so well. But what I saw today broke my heart. Unfortunately, to see him stoop down to the groomer narrative. Wait, what? I don't see that. So he was nice and kind to you, but then he tweeted, and then you're just done. I don't know the story behind that, but I feel like, again, you're misconstruing what he's saying. NICKMERCS addressed the backlash on his stream, said that he didn't mean to upset anyone, but stands by his comments. So this is what we're going to see.
Feel that I want to be the one and my wife wants to be the one to speak with our child about stuff like that. And that was the tweet. That was the tweet. You can take the tweet if you want, and you can spin it, flip it, flop it, quote tweet it. You can put 10 paragraphs on top of it. You can do whatever you want to it to make you feel better if that's what you want to do. But that was the tweet, okay? So if you came here to hear that, I hope you feel a little better about it. I didn't mean to upset anybody. I know that I did. I'm not apologizing about the tweet because I don't feel like it's wrong. I'm going to stand by what I said. I'm not going to delete the tweet. You know, I just want to make sure everybody understands exactly the point I was trying to make by tweeting my response. You know, and I do want to apologize to Puckett though. I feel like I might have brought a little bit of shit his way, man. I didn't mean to do that, but.
And I actually do agree with what he stated. The words he said, they mean what he means, but a lot of people are taking it and putting it out of context. That's how I'm seeing this. Again, I'm not a parent. I can't speak for that, how your mentality changes when you have a kid. It happened to my friend Stefan, where his entire worldview changed when he had a kid. Same thing for my cousins, for my friend Esther's planning to have a kid. It's like your focus shifts and your entire personality takes a different perspective on life based on this little human who has become your entire world. So in that situation, I understand where he's coming from. And yeah, like when I'm reading through these tweets, it's like they're taking what he's saying and putting it out of context. And well, he broke the silence, but Call of Duty Activision decided to remove his skin. So if you don't know that he had a skin promotion along with Tim the Tatman, and it was literally removed just like that. And the thing that I have a problem with this is that they were so quick to do this, but when it comes to actual problems within their games, they don't do anything. Like, they removed the mods for Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2, the original one, that allowed people to play the game without having their session being hijacked because of hackers. And then they removed that and completely destroyed it. And apparently the same problem is happening with Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War on PC, where they removed mods that help people disguise their IPs so they didn't get session hijacked, in which that the hacker would literally close their session. I'm sure they can also do a lot of more nefarious things to it. I'm not a hacker. I'm not versed in that field. I only know the most basic things for security purposes. But yeah, it's just like very alarming that within a day, they were able to pull what would probably take months of planning, designing, animating, QA testing. And then they just decide, gone. Like, let's face it, Activision Blizzard will put their store first above everything else. It also doesn't help that the reason they did it. Let's see if they put it here. The COD community was rocked on June 8th when NICKMERCS operator skin was pulled from the store after he made a remark about leaving children alone in reference to Pride Month being recognized in schools a day earlier. It didn't take long for backlash to pour in, with many NICKMERCS fans calling on uninstalling Call of Duty, including fellow streamer Dr. Disrespect, who demanded the company either apologize or add his company bundle back to the shop. So what they're talking about is this.
Yesterday, it just blew my mind. Absolutely blew my mind. That Call of Duty, Activision, made the decision to pull NICKMERCS' skin and bundle off the game. You know, champs, I mean, just imagine. I mean, he's one of us. He's one of us streamers, right? I mean, to get your own skin and bundle and that whole collaboration on the biggest shooter franchise out there and be one of the first to do it in Call of Duty, that's such a massive accomplishment, you know? And he worked hard, years and years, built a nice community. He's a great representation of a streamer gaming, you know? And just like that, he made it, got it in there, and they pulled it down. That's a fucking tough one, man. That's a tough one. For what again? So what I gotta do, what we gotta do is uninstall the game. Number one. I mean, don't get a mistake, in this year's Call of Duty is the worst in its franchise. But that decision by COD's PR marketing team, I'll tell you right now, man, that's a tough one. That's a tough one to digest for the two-time.
I usually turn off my mic when I see that, but Dr. Disrespect runs in the same circle as NICKMERCS and Tim the Tatman, so a lot of people are going to basically have the caveman ideology where, you know, one of us, do all that stuff. It's not a shot at him, like he's standing by his friend, like anyone would do. If your friend's in trouble, you're going to obviously stand by them. It's what it is, but at the same time, this is going to affect Activision Blizzard's bottom line because they care more about profits than anything. I mean, remember, this is the company that went through an entire court case for sexual harassment, the Cosby Room, the employee who ended themselves because nudes of them leaked and were being spread across the office. The time Bobby Kotick literally told an employee of his to end themselves. And yeah, let's just say this company is notorious for stuff like, you know, attacking the very thing they're promoting. Not to mention they banned the Pride Month flag in the Middle Eastern version of their game because it's illegal to be any part of the LGBTQ community there. It's horrifying, but you know, this is a company that, oh yeah, and the Hong Kong situation, let's not forget that because Blizzard Entertainment is part of Activision. The Hong Kong incident where they literally sided with, you know, China in that situation until China literally banned World of Warcraft. So that entire situation was a huge L. So yeah, this is not exactly a very progressive company. And they don't really care about their customers in the same regard because, again, they took this stuff down in less than a day. But then when it comes to actual problems with their products, from session hijacking to server problems to just, you know, over monetization issues and pay to win mechanics, no one cares. But when it comes to this stuff, I don't know. Like, I'm trying to remain neutral because no matter what I say, it will just be problematic for either side. It's just that the way I look at it from objective standpoint, NICKMERCS said something, a lot of people disagreed with him, and Call of Duty decided to take the sledgehammer to the problem instead of, like, talking things out. The number one thing, well, they didn't even need to talk things out. I think the number one thing they should have done is said nothing. Literally just say nothing, operate as a game company, and just be like, okay, and I know the counter argument to that would be, well, they still have a NICKMERCS skin, so that could be stated that there's, aligning themselves with that person. But, the way I would see it is that they made a deal with someone years in months or probably a year in advance, and they're just following through with the deal. But, there are always going to be people on both sides of the political spectrum who will take things to the extreme. It's the internet. There's always going to be people like that. Like I stated in past videos, I literally try to make the most milquetoast content possible on my main channel with walkthroughs and guides and lore videos, and I get death threats. If someone like me gets death threats for making like an Assassin's Creed 3 video, you can guarantee there are people who will go completely ballistic for a minor tweet you made several years ago. But I'm just using it as an example. This is happening in the here and now. The Coward community I already read that because the ads have completely screwed me up. Now, nearly a day after the skin was removed, NICKMERCS has broken his silence by standing by his comments. Oh, we read through that. In a post on Twitter, the FaZe Clan star said that he appreciates the support he has been receiving while once again arguing that his comments were not meant to be hateful. I didn't see some hateful comments on him. I just thought he was saying what he believed in, and people can disagree with him. They're free to, but I think some people just took it to the extreme. I can't speak on behalf of any of this because I don't think I have an opinion worth hearing, and on top of it, I'm not a parent, so I don't really know what to say about this stuff. I have nieces and nephews, but I don't know. It's up to the parents to decide how they wish to tackle these things because they're the ones who are raising their kids. That's how I stand on almost anything involving parents. It's up to their parents to decide what's best for their kids. In a post Twitter, the FaZe Clan star said that I already read that. Again, the freaking ads are going crazy. Friends are created in good times, but families are built through adversity. Appreciate all of you that had my back. Understand my position as a new father and recognize the love I have for all. Friends created good time. Oh, yeah, that's for sources purposes. It's not known if he's currently trying to get his skin added back to Call of Duty or when his stream will again, but Twitch icon hasn't yet gone live since his bundle was removed. I think it's the best idea to not stream because if he does, he's just going to be bombarded with people again from the radical either side who are just going to go out and attack him for the sake of personal validation, or on both sides, either to defend him or to fight against him, because there are people on both sides, people who go on the internet to defend their favorite creator or their favorite person on the behalf of that person, even though that person told them not to do it or doesn't appreciate it. I have been a victim of that. Someone has done that in my life, and I really don't like it. So I can assume that it will just be a huge crap storm if he does that. And Call of Duty, meanwhile, hasn't commented further on the bundle since replying to the Charlie Intel report to pull due to recent events, adding they are focused on celebrating Pride with our employees and our community. Again, this is the company that is wrapped around so much controversy. They just literally had to say nothing. How hard it is just to say nothing and just make games? I don't know. Like, that's how I would see it. Like, you're not politicians. You're game developers. Just focus on the game. It's okay to celebrate Pride Month and do all this stuff for the sake of inclusiveness, but for this, like, you got involved in a battle where you didn't need to get involved. Like, just step back and just say nothing, and eventually people will forget or they will just leave you alone. If you actively engage with this situation, it's just going to make things worse. Like, if I was working at Activision Blizzard, I would tell people that. If I was in PR, I'd say, don't say anything, step away from it, just focus on the game. If we say anything, it's going to be 1,000 times worse. Like, if you look at it from a company perspective, that would probably be the best idea, but this situation is just going to make things a lot worse. In any case, how many streamers have sided with NICKMERCS and the backlash to Activision's decision? It will be interesting to see how this affects the franchise going forward and future operator skins. It will. Like, if this in any way affects the bottom line, which is their financial and fiscal reports, they're not going to be happy, whoever made this decision. It's going to be war to be had because, let's face it, remember, Bobby Kotick, this is the guy who told one of his employees to end themselves because of some sort of non-issue. And this is also the company that had the infamous Cosby Room. So not saying that companies can't move forward from this and people can't change, but, you know, probably not the best idea to bring more attention to you. Either way, I don't really know what else to say about this situation. All I know is that maybe NICKMERCS should have remained quiet, but he decided, now that the situation has happened, all you can do is move forward from it. Make the best decisions you can given the current circumstances and hope for the best in the future. I'm sure he'll bounce back. Like, he is literally one of the biggest streamers out there. There's always going to be another sponsorship, another company who's willing to work for you. There's always going to be something on brighter pastures for these types of streamers who have a very large audience. There are always going to be companies who are willing to support you. And there are also plenty of other first-person shooters out there that have just as big of an audience that will allow you to come onto their platform and play their game and even give you sponsorships for them. Like, this demographic is constantly growing and becoming bigger. So that's also another situation. I'm trying to look at the most whatever situation. Worst case scenario is that he just takes like a month break and hope all of this blows over, like the Shaun of the Dead. Grab a beer and just wait for everything. Go to the pub, grab a pint, and just wait for everything to blow over. That's what I can say about this. Like, from a business perspective, this was the worst decision you can make from both sides. Like, he should have stayed quiet, and so should have Activision Blizzard. But everything happened, so now they just have to make the best case of a worse situation. So tell me what you think about this situation. I don't really know what to make of it as a business, in the business perspective. But on a personal level, he probably made a lot of, you know, enemies or a lot of, like, non-friends now. So that's it. Like it if you like it, dislike it if you dislike it. That's me signing out. Hopefully I don't get ratioed for this.